The president and I are absolutely committed to ensuring that our immigration system is orderly and humane. We are seeing here in El Paso unaccompanied minors who I spent time with, who are filled with optimism, but they are without their family.
No, Mrs. Vice President. For the record, migrant children are not optimistic and okay. Maybe you didn't catch that in today's quick tour of the Border Patrol facility in El Paso. But if you traveled a few miles further to Fort Bliss Army Base, you'd find that kids are so miserable in their cages, some of them have been placed on suicide watch. In fact, dozens have been placed on suicide watch. This is according to reporting from CBS News, who says the following: federal officials became so concerned about migrant teens harming themselves that they banned pencils, pens, scissors, nail clippers, and regular toothbrushes inside tents housing hundreds of children. According to an internal document, workers at the site said they were even instructed to remove the metal nose clips from N95 face masks. That does not sound like optimism. Here now, former White House senior advisor and America First legal founder, Stephen Miller. Stephen, great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
So the report from CBS News suggests that kids are being held something like 60 days. They're being held in migrant facilities, moved on from their initial Border Patrol facilities, but 60 days, and it's taking a toll. Dozens of kids now who are looking not just depressed, but looking into self-harm. What's going on here? How does this get resolved?
The Trump administration solved the unaccompanied minor crisis in a sustainable way through humane repatriation to aliens' home countries. That single act ended most child trafficking on our border. The new administration made a conscious decision over the objections of career officials, some of whom they've since terminated. They made a conscious, deliberate decision to end the repatriation policy. And instead, they have long-term housing, followed by release to unknown sponsors in many cases inside the United States. That means it is open season on children in Latin America because smugglers, coyotes, and traffickers can advertise you will successfully gain entry into the United States. And desperate people make desperate decisions. I want to be very clear about something. This is not a case of Harris and Biden trying but failing to secure the border. This is the case of Biden and Harris trying and succeeding in destroying the border. Only if you understand that can you understand everything else that is going on.
Well, I understand that. I do understand that, Stephen. So help me understand how unprepared they were for this crisis. So the reason, apparently, that so many kids are being held for so long is their policy, as you pointed out, to find sponsors here in the United States has to go through HHS and has to have a case manager handle each and every one of those children in finding a sponsor. They don't have enough case managers. They're not prepared. They literally can't put people on the job to take care of these children. So why were they so unprepared for something that I think you're right about they don't mind happening?
Because they're zealots. That's the simple answer to the question. Look at what you didn't hear Senator Harris say, or Vice President Harris, my apologies, say a single time today. She didn't say, we, the United States of America, are not going to tolerate illegal entry into our country. If you try to come in illegally, you'll be repatriated and returned to your home country. She didn't say that because they're zealots. Their policies are extreme. And therefore, everything and everyone else are collateral damage. They didn't care is the answer. Because it's cruel and it's heartless, but they don't care. And the reality is they were warned by career law enforcement officials throughout the transition that this would happen if they put catch and release into place.
Yeah.
But they just didn't mind.
Really quickly, Stephen, I want to get your answer to this question. And by the way, I mean, the details of this are not worth glossing over. They're important. There are stories here of kids using their government-issued ID cards to try to slit their own wrists. This is a very unhumanitarian situation these migrant kids are finding themselves in. Take me back to the Trump administration really quickly. You said you had a policy of repatriation. You took them back to their home countries. Tell me how long that took, Stephen, in those individual cases, perhaps on average, but also how's that done? Is that not difficult to find where those kids are coming from? I mean, if they're unaccompanied and I don't know if they're willingly giving you that information, where do you know to send them back to?
to their parents, their relatives, their legal guardians in their home countries.
And they willingly pass that information on to law enforcement.
And in fact, so it's such an important question. We could do this sometimes in less than 72 hours. We could contact the home consulate, the home embassy, social workers, and professionals in the home country, get them back to their closest relative, their legal guardian, and oftentimes their parents in their home country. You talk about root causes. The root cause of the misery, the suffering, the suicidal ideation, the terrible, monstrous things that are happening right now is a decision to nullify law enforcement, to erase our border, to engage in reckless, extremist behavior for an ideological objective.
Right.
It's a stain on the conscience of this nation, what was done, and it was all deliberate. Every single piece of it was purposeful.
I encourage everyone to look into this story. It really is heartbreaking to find out what's happening there with children. Stephen Miller, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.